All right. Hello, everyone. This is the January 8th, 2025 meeting of the Brisbane Parks and Recreation Commission. I am calling the meeting to order at, 6:33 p.m. Can I get a roll call, please?
Of course. Starting with Chairperson Sims.
Here.
Commissioner Comerford.
Present.
Commissioner Davis.
Present.
Commissioner Greenlee.
Here.
Commissioner Ocampo.
Present.
Commissioner Sewell.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have adoption of the agenda. Do we have any edits to the agenda? All right. Can I get a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
I second.
Excellent.
All right. We're adopting tonight's agenda. Chairperson Sims.
Aye.
Commissioner Comerford.
Aye.
Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Greenlee.
Aye.
Commissioner Ocampo.
Aye.
Commissioner Sewell.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, next we have approval of the November 13th, 2024 minutes. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll approve. I second.
Okay. We're approving the minutes from our November meeting. Chairperson Sims.
Aye.
Commissioner Comerford.
Aye.
Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Greenlee.
Aye.
Commissioner Ocampo.
Aye.
Commissioner Sewell.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, next we have citizens communications. Do we have any?
We do not.
All right. That brings us to presentations. We have a very special presentation.
I'll kick us off if
Okay.
that's okay. I will start. You can just sit there. I won't make you go up to the podium. Maybe when they speak, you can go up to the podium. But speaking on behalf of myself and all of the Parks and Recreation staff, I just wanted to say a few words to thank you for your service on the Parks and Recreation Commission. When you joined the commission, you truly reinvigorated it with your enthusiasm and willingness to champion things across the finish line. Your dedication was unwavering, and you truly leaned into all things Park and Rec. Staff could always count on your presence at special events and knew without question that you spent time within the community advocating for parks and recreation programs and services. Other department staff described you as the following: a trusted community member, punctual and consistent, a person of their word, non-judgmental and open-minded, and a compassionate listener and leader. I have to agree on all accounts. You always did your diligence to ask questions, to conduct research, and to understand the full picture before making informed decisions. Your energy and sense of humor will surely be missed on the commission, but we are thrilled to have your continued impact and leadership on the City Council. We know with certainty that you will continue to do great things for Brisbane. And with that, I'm going to read the formal acknowledgement, and we have a hard copy for you here. So, the City of Brisbane formally recognizes Frank Kern for his service on the Parks and Recreation Commission. Over the course of his 4-year term, Frank acted in an advisory capacity to City Council on matters pertaining to the city's Recreation and Parks Department. He acted in an advisory capacity in preparation of the annual budget for recreation and long-range recreation and park and capital improvement program, recommended to the City Council fees or charges to be paid by residents and non-residents for use of city recreational facilities or for participation in city recreational programs, gathered community opinions and perceptions regarding recreational opportunities and needs, made recommendations concerning beautification, development, and improvement of parks and recreation facilities, recommended policies regarding recreation and park services and programs for approval by City Council, participated in the development and implementation of public events on behalf of the city and sponsored by the Recreation Department and/or the Parks and Recreation Commission. After many years of dedicated service to the Brisbane community and advocacy in the field of parks and recreation, we thank you, Frank, for your time and dedication. From all of us in the Parks and Recreation Department, thank you so much. And I would like to invite your colleagues to say a few words if they so choose.
Who's going to go first? I know we all have things to say.
We go left to right, I'd say.
Okay, let's do it that way.
Which way is stage left and which way is stage right?
You.
We'll start with you, Tom.
Well, Wow, Frank. One, I want to, you made me feel comfortable up here. Not comfortable in my skin here, but you made me feel comfortable immediately. I want to thank you for that personally. Thanks for laughing at all my jokes. And I know Alan, your partner's watching tonight, so we have to shout out to him. Hi, Alan. How are you? Yeah, but most importantly, I think you're going to be perfect in Brisbane politics. You're bringing the joy back and the balance in town, and I'm really proud of you and how you, not only who you are, but how you're doing it. So, thank you.
Okay. Oh, or share mine?
No, okay. Two. Just wanted to thank you for everything throughout the whole years. I think that, when you joined, you've got your hands dirty. You just asked the questions and you've got out there and went out to the community and just got to know people. And even if you didn't know the questions or the answers, you actually asked the right questions and you did all the research and you just got your hands dirty and basically you got all of us together, and this is why we're, one of the best committees in Brisbane, but we're going to miss you. Your even keel personality, you're fun, and we're also going to miss Ellen as well. But we'll be seeing you, and we're glad you're leading the community.
I'm verklempt. I'm just so glad that you were on our committee, because it wasn't just meeting you as a committee member, but I think we all really became good friends, And I feel extremely lucky to have lived under the umbrella of your experience before you even got here. Having worked in the city of Chicago, just raised the bar for our little committee to reach for bigger things, which I think is what we're aiming to do. And hopefully with your support now on the city council, we'll be able to even achieve more. So I'm really looking forward to still working with you, but I still, of course, count you as a very dear friend, you and Alan both. So I will miss you, but I also look forward to our future work together, which will be, I'm sure, even better. So.
Thank you. Frank, I'm reminded of your diligence. I was when I was going through the packet and I was looking at the notes we had on different cities and what they did for their boosters, their park boosters, and yours were the most extensive and thorough. And I thought, that is Frank. You just do what you say you're going to do. And you also, you bring a lot of humility for someone who is so smart and strategic and brings so much to our group. And I know you'll bring that same spirit to City Council. I'm so happy to know you and Alan. And I also will say this, you're a bridge builder. And when you were running, that was something we saw very clearly on this commission. And I think that'll serve the city so well for many years to come. So I'm so happy to see you making this move, but we will miss you very much.
What can I say? You're a great cook. You're a lot of fun to walk with. The walk we did, I still remember that, how fun it was, just meeting people and talking. I also have to say, reflecting what Tom said, when I first joined the commission, I was like, oh, crap. I don't know these people. They don't know me, blah, blah, blah. You were the first one to call me out for my enthusiasm. At the time, I thought you were jabbing me, but a couple hours later, I thought, actually, he was paying me a compliment. I adore you. I just look forward to seeing what you'll do on the city council, but I'm going to miss you sitting here, to be honest. Okay?
Frank, I'll see you around. Congratulations. We're lucky. Thanks a ton.
And we did take a few moments to compile some photos of your time on the Park and Rec Commission.
Yay!
So, Joe, yes, yeah. If you want to go up there while the photos are
No.
sliding through, we don't have any like music accompanying the images, but
You're free to sing, Frank.
but we can share those, and then you're welcome to come up to the podium if you want to say a few words.
There's our shots. Yeah. Nice. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, a handsome couple there.
Oh, that was the best day.
Yes. There you are. Look at those legs.
Woo.
Aw. Oh, that was a great. Oh my gosh.
Oh, look at you.
Always looking professional there. The secret garden tour. He was key. And that hat. Again. Cute. Nice. Judging. I know. Having lots of fun.
Okay, guys, I'm going to keep this kind of brief here. So at my attained age, I don't think of 4 years as being a very long time. But 4 years ago was a very long time ago. When I got appointed, we were still in our first year of COVID lockdown. And so I joined the commission along with Julie and Lisa. And at the time, Bonnie Bolagoff was on it, Lyle Cabino, and Renee Marmion. And it was a completely different commission at the time, and we were all newbies. And also at that time, Natalie Ocampo, you were the chair. And I remember thinking, because in 2 dimensions, I didn't know you. And I was like, oh my God, she really runs a tight ship. These meetings are like so official. I'm like, mental note, don't mess with Natalie. So thank you for leading the way and showing us the way. I really appreciate that. Lisa, pleasure to get to know you on the commission. Really can appreciate the creativity that you bring to not only this commission, but projects across the city of Brisbane. So again, thank you. Very inspired by you. Julie, our resident cheerleader, has the ability to reframe any problem and keep us going. Your communication style is amazing, and really appreciate your enthusiasm. Would you guys believe that we served 2 years without our other 3 folks here? And so it wasn't until, it was 2 years, no, 1 year later that we got Tom, which was a great addition. Thank you so much for not only being hysterical and providing the levity that we need to get through this, but always breaking our problems down into sizable chunks so we can have a good discussion about them. So I appreciate that. Renee, thank you so much. Your words just now sort of summed up a lot that I was going to say about you. Thank you for your constant critical thinking as we're working through problems. It's really appreciated here. And your clear and direct communication is second to none. So thank you. And Trudy, oh my gosh. We have had the best time. And I just want to say, when Trudy does something, she does it through the lost art of storytelling. And so when she is crafting an idea, a concept, and she's working with somebody, she does it through telling a story. And I really appreciate that. It is a lost art, and we need that here. And also thank you for all of your institutional knowledge and all the history that you bring to this commission as well. So thank you. Staff. So, Noreen, you've been around since day one. I really appreciate your can-do attitude. It's that spirit that just, it trickles down throughout the entire Park and Recs organization. And there's never a no. It's how we're gonna get this done. Nicole, I cannot believe we did this for 2 years without you. So the spirit and the enthusiasm that you bring to the table is again, second to none. You've done a great job, getting involved in Parks and Rec here and changing the identity of the whole Park and Rec's experience. So thank you. Ricardo, I don't even want to know what your quote was about me, but thank you so much for everything you do and always doing it with a smile. And so we really appreciate that. Someday we will have another pickleball match. Jeff, thank you. Always positive, always got a big smile on your face as well. And really, thank you for bringing it and showing up every day. I know that Sarah's not here, and I want to give her a shout out too. We've worked on several projects. And Jovi, thanks for holding all of this together and with a wit that is unmatched. So thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And at the end, I think the only thing that I have to say is that everybody in this room and everybody that shows up to the meetings and everybody that watches, hi, Alan, everybody that participates here, they care a lot. You all care a lot. Everybody cares and they're invested, and it shows in the product, in the output. So with that being said, I will be turning over I'll be surrendering my Park and Recs badge, but you cannot have the vest. Thank you.
Rip the best off.
Well, I really don't know how we top that. It kind of feels like we should end the meeting now, but.
I think you probably have homework.
He's coming
go
home,
over.
Alan.
Now,
But if you're bored, we can send you the Parks and Rec packet.
you can watch us on TV.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, next we have our seniors presentation.
All right, so Jeff Franco is going to come up to the podium and provide a presentation regarding senior programs.
Good evening. Good evening, commissioners. My name is Jeff, and I've been program coordinator of the senior programming for just over a year now. So I've seen pretty much all aspects of the programs we have, and I've seeked a lot of feedback, like from you as commissioners, and then from our residents who take advantage of our programming. And I'm going to give you a synopsis of what we've done over the last year and kind of go in the day by day. So we'll start with kind of what a typical Monday looks like and give a couple of the very various programs that we do. And then we'll go out throughout the week, and then we'll talk about other programs and activities that we offer from there. So on Mondays, we partner with the Samaritan House. And we've been doing this since COVID, and we did multiple days a week during COVID, but we've scaled it back to Mondays, and we serve about 80 plus lunches to the community. 12 of them being meals that are delivered by our volunteer, Paul Buscal, and then everybody else comes and picks up their lunches at the Sunrise Room. And Mondays the lunches get delivered around 11, picked up and delivered by Iris, one of our preschool employees, part-time employees. And then I would say from 11:30 till 2:30, the Sunrise Room is busy with people coming and going, picking up their lunches. Usually there's a lot of people that stay and converse. So when I stop by on a Monday, it's always like, I have to plan, like, am I going to be there for 45 minutes or an hour? Because so many people just to check in with and see how they're doing. And they're very appreciative of the meals that we can provide for them, thanks to the Samaritan House. After, on Mondays, about after that, there's a few people to, like up to 10 people sometimes, that come, and they usually bring their sewing kits or their crochet needles, and they sit at one of the tables. Sometimes they're playing cards or coloring. It's kind of an open forum, and they have stuff that they always bring, but they always lead to other conversations as well. I feel that's one of my main goals for new programming is start something like have conversation starters, but then kind of see what branches out from there. So like just get people together by the programs that we try to provide. And then also on Mondays, every 2 weeks, this volunteer Paul Boscow leads hikes on the Quarry Park Trail. And sometimes on San Bruno Mountain as well. If we get enough people, we'll take them in the van to San Bruno Mountain. Next slide. Tuesdays start off with our Agile Aging class, led by Dr. Mike Abney. We've gotten up to average participants, 20 to 25. We've even surpassed that, even to the point where we've discussed having 2 classes or moving a class in the morning, a class in the afternoon. That was throughout summer and fall. Like it seems the warmer it gets, the more people come to do the class. The winters come, and I think yesterday we had 16, so it was still a lot, but we definitely have, as we get too many people, it gets tight in the sunrise room. But getting back down to 16, and we've made plans where if we consistently get higher than that, that we will add another class. It is very popular, and some of the people come to programming just for that class. So then they hear about other things that we have going on, but that's their ticket into the sunrise room, coming to the Agile Aging class. And it gives them fall prevention tips, balance. They work on that's a big thing, in hand-eye coordination. And then Tuesday afternoons, one of the programs we do, like if it's kind of by on demand, if people want a film or a movie that they want to watch, we'll provide it and then kind of let the other people in the sunrise room know who come in that we're going to be playing this movie. Like, you're welcome to come in, talk amongst yourselves if you don't want to watch the movie, but it's entertainment that we have. There's other times we put board games out. We've done trivia in there, like there's a couple trivia games just to spark conversations. Tuesdays, like sometimes there's not anything specifically planned. We'll have on Tuesdays, that's when I'll plan to do program and feedback sessions once every couple months. I'm there a lot more than that, but I'll dedicate time to come in and listen to our participants and see what feedback or concerns they have about programming. I hear throughout the whole year, throughout the whole week, but I definitely want to set aside time for some people that will mark that on their calendar and they'll say, okay, this is when I'm going to give Jeff feedback, and they'll come with lists. And then we try to work and create new programming based upon that. Wednesdays, we have our senior club lunches at the community center. So we have 50 to 55 active senior club members right now who participate in the lunches and then bingo afterwards. Lunches come from local restaurants like Julie's Deli, Melissa's Taqueria. Even one of our residents, Joe Soli, provides lunches. He actually made the lunch today. It was pork tenderloin and scalloped potatoes and salad. So it brings the whole community together. We always have enough for everybody who comes. Usually we probably average 35 people plus per lunch. And then we always try to have extras because right when people come in, they want to put their name on the to-go list if there's extra food, because then we can provide a second meal for either be dinner or their lunch the next day. And then after lunch is over, we'll have any announcements, and then bingo will be played. So that's at the community center. Then around 2 o'clock, if they want to go to the sunrise room will open with Iris there, and she always has a different art project. Usually it's one art project per month, and then they work on that project throughout the month on Wednesdays. And once we also have, we're down to, well, one Wednesday a month, we have our teen tech help with the YAC. So if any participants have questions with any technology, if their iPhone or iPad or computer, they can bring them in, and the teens, middle school and high schoolers, will help them with any questions they have. Thursdays start off with an art class, or actually back-to-back art classes with Miss Shirley. We currently have 16 participants in the art class, 8 in the first session and 8 in the second session, and primarily working on watercolor, or I think it's all different type of art, but mainly painting. I know it's watercolor. I know it's I think oil painting a little bit. It's wide variety. So we have had last year, I want to say it was in May, they did have an art show at the library. So where there was at least 20, 25 of their paintings on display at the library for longer. But we have some very talented artists, and Miss Shirley is a great teacher, so a great asset to have in our community. Then in the afternoons on Thursdays, we've had eFitness running, which is essentially, I think it's with the Nintendo Switch. It's bowling, or we've tried tennis. It's where they get up with the remotes and are bowling with the TV. So we have a good following of people who just like enjoy just trying out the video games and playing, or then there's people who have come and just cheer on people who are there. And we just started in mid-December, chair, because we had requests for an additional exercise class to Agile Aging. So we've started with chair yoga and exercise classes. And the very first one, I think we had 10 people. And we've averaged about 6 to 8 people every Thursday since then. There have been progressions to people want like not only chair exercise, so we've done the chair exercise classes with instructors through YouTube. So there's a few that we've rotated through, and then we'll be looking, Teresa and I, our senior coordinator, for more classes to offer either through YouTube, maybe some people have like, can we do these like aerobics standing up too, not just in the chair? So we will be expanding the classes that we offer and start with them Thursday afternoons. That brings us to Fridays. The day starts off with another round of bingo in the morning, usually around 12:30. Bingo is accompanied by at least one person, if not a couple people, usually bring some food. There's been soups that are brought. There have been like appetizer foods that just extra special that the community members bring to bingo. So while they're playing bingo and socializing, they have like a comfort food to enjoy their bingo with. And then Friday afternoons, we call it open sharing and sing sessions, where they're either doing karaoke or they're just like over the holidays, they were just singing Christmas carols in the Sunrise Room. So it was something, we've done a couple planned karaoke nights at the Sunrise Room, but now they're just maybe about 2 to 4 on Fridays, just singing, or if they finish their singing, then they'll just share stories about like performances they've done. And there's maybe about at least 8 to 10 regulars that are coming, and there's different people that have come to that different weeks. Next. So that wraps up a typical week and a variety of some of the activities. We also have, through the age-friendly initiative that you'll hear a little bit more about later, we've started some intergenerational programming. The last month, we've partnered with our preschool program and had some, we call them Grand Friends events, where we've had participants go to preschool. It's been Thursday mornings. They've kind of worked on like free play with the kids, and then there's always been an activity and some snacks and coffee provided. Coffee for the older adults, not
for the kids.
I don't think any of the preschoolers have had the coffee yet, but maybe next time. And then another intergenerational program, which we talked about, is our Teen Tech Help on Wednesday afternoons. We also had a member of our YAC approach us maybe early December, late November, wanting to do a musical performance at the senior center for seniors specifically. We just said what date works, and it was Friday, December 20th. And then she planned the rest on her own. It was, her name was Lily. She had 3 other musicians, and they played music for maybe about a half hour, 45 minutes. She provided some cookies, and kind of, I let her lead the whole performance and like the whole program. And it's something that she was really excited about to lead. It was the first time she had done something like that. So I was like, yeah, we can provide the sunrise room anytime that you want. So we will be in communication with her, and then I assume the YAC will help, and we'll have future performances. But that was attended by, there was probably at least 20 people that came to the performance.
That's great.
There's an open seat if she wants to join us.
Yeah, okay. I'll let her know. The senior club also had a couple outings for lunch. We had 2 trips to Joe's of Westlake, which are always a crowd pleaser, and then our annual holiday lunch at the Mission Blue Center last month in December. Those are 2 different tables up there, but I just put the pictures together. These are the field trips that we offered. Currently, our van seats 9, so we have up to 9 seniors that can go on a field trip. And if we have more that are interested, then we make them have a priority for future trips. So the trips that we went on this past year were to the Hiller Aviation Museum, Grayton Casino, San Jose Museum of Art, the Jelly Belly Factory, the Walt Disney Museum, Pier 39, San Francisco Zoo, Sausalito, and then just last month in December, we went to Half Moon Bay and Pescadero. Fun fact, don't go to Pescadero on a Tuesday. Everything's closed except one coffee shop. There's not a lot there to begin with, but we spent probably 45 minutes outside, like some people got coffee and just outside. It was a beautiful day in December, so we went to the coast in December, but it was probably 65 degrees that day. So it was a very enjoyable day, even though our first stop, there wasn't a lot to do. But then we went to the beach, and everybody enjoyed just kind of walking around, being close to the ocean. Here's a few more pictures of trips, including our van parked in a dirt parking lot right by the beach. Joey? So, as I mentioned earlier, we are AARP age-friendly certified. Back in 2023, we were certified. A task force was established, focus groups were held, a survey was put out to the community and wrapped up. And a little bit later this evening, hopefully it's within 10 to 15 minutes, the plan will be rolled out in front of you guys, and Nicole will be the lead for that. And that wraps it up. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or recommendations.
Are the hikes still being held?
What?
Are the hikes still being held?
Yes, every other Monday morning at.
Where?
We meet at the Sunrise Room, and they're either held at the Quarry Park Trail, and then if we have enough people and people are interested, we will van them over to San Bruno Mountain.
And what time?
They start at 9.
Thank you.
You're fairly new at this. only less than a year, right? Or
I started overseeing seniors about December last year in 2020.
What have you learned? What have you learned? What makes you excited? What can you tell us?
I've learned, like, it's about the connections. So I always plan when I go to the sunrise room to either if I have something quick to say to Teresa or just check in. I always want to. I don't just talk to her. I'll talk to everybody who's in the room, see how their day's going, try to get feedback or suggestions from them every time and connect. It's as you guys know, the first 8 years I was here was in charge of aquatics. So it's a big change. Like there, it was seeing a lot of people daily. Like now we have a core group of our community who takes part in our senior programs. And I want to make sure that, that core group grows, but that we're servicing them as well as we can. So just being there, like today at lunch, while I was just waiting for the Solis to come, and so I could help them bring their food in, probably about 10 seniors came walking over to the community center, just saying hello, and some of them I hadn't seen yet this year. So just connecting with a new population that I hadn't worked with until this year. So I have a...
That's awesome. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, go for it.
You know, I hope my mother-in-law is behaving.
Yes.
Okay, good. Let me know. And then, I don't know, this is maybe a question for everybody, but can the art group, our art committee help support the art for the seniors? Do they need any support?
At this time, something we could look into, but I don't know that there's, I think the classes that Shirley conducts, they're pretty well attended.
Right.
And we're trying to get, I know, more people involved. There are people on our wait list that we're trying to work through. But we can look into that to see, but I feel it's a pretty well-oiled machine, like the art classes that are happening right now.
So I just was listening last night to the radio, and there's a whole feature on how board games are coming back. And I hate board games, but I grew up in that era where we had to do them. But I think that's something that if down the road you're looking for different things to do, apparently there's a big interest in them. And this was in San Francisco, so this was like, in this area.
We do have a good amount currently at the Sunrise Room, so it's just a matter of bringing them out more and or letting people know. Usually we announce new ideas at either on Mondays when people come for lunch, or Wednesdays or Fridays. Those are the days we have the most people. So that's when we'll say, hey, come next Tuesday or on Thursdays. And like, if we want to say, we'll put board games out and like play and just like experiment. Maybe you haven't played these games in a while, but you can always learn a new something. So I like that idea.
Yeah.
Renee, I heard the same feature. I think it was NPR, and one of the things they talked about was bunco being big. I know there's a gambling element in that, so I'm not sure. But that might be something. That sounds fun to me. Jeff, thank you for this update. And I really like the format of the presentation because we could go day by day, kind of what's happening. A couple of things. One is, if we have people in the community who want to volunteer to lead activities for the seniors, how does that work?
I would say they could either go to the Sunrise Room and talk to Teresa in any time, or they could get in touch with me through email or phone, and then I would still run it by Teresa because she is our eyes and ears, and she's day in and day out, she's there, so she's great for the program. So it's just any suggestions you can send to mine or her way, and we just would want it to be something that people want to do. So if there's volunteers that want to offer, hey, I can do XYZ, then we'll bring it to the population and say, we have somebody who would do this. Would you be interested?
I think one of the things that I was thinking about with that is just, I love the agile aging, and I think it's so important. It really does save people's health and lives. I'm not sure that one day a week is enough. And I know I don't want to be like, Mike, could you do more? So I do wonder if if people would be interested, if we could find a second day a week for that.
He has, well, we did discuss when we were getting high in numbers for just Tuesday mornings. And he could either do it a second day in the week, or he could do it like in the afternoon on Tuesdays. That's when we usually have an opening. So if it be that, or if we find a new program, like that's another exercise class, then yeah, we're definitely open.
Yeah, and I also wonder if there would be like people like yoga teachers in the community who would want to volunteer and do yoga in person.
Yeah,
If we put the word out there somehow.
we could, yeah.
The other question I had is on, it's $10 a month to participate, correct?
Yes.
And then what if people don't have that? Are there subsidies or is there exemption?
We have, well, we always will say to new participants that try a month out, see if our programs are something that you would like. And if at this point, we haven't had anybody ask like to not pay the $10 a month, but if that came up, we would definitely work with them. And we'd still want to be able to. The $10 a month mainly focuses on the senior club days, which is the Wednesday lunches and the Wednesday bingo. And then some like the lunches as well, like the outings to like our Mission Blue holiday lunch or our lunches to Joe's of Westlake. But so if we had people that came up to us, we would definitely work with them and come up with a plan, because we don't want to turn anybody away who's interested.
Yeah, and I know some people like really live on thin margins and with everything going up. Then finally, if there is overflow going to an outing like a Joe's, would it be possible for someone to volunteer to take extra people in their car?
Yeah, when we go to like Joe's, a lot of the participants will carpool, and we've never got more than 9 people who have requested, but we would definitely work with them or try to make sure they get a ride. And at this point, it hasn't been that we've had more than 9 people yet want to go on a field trip on any particular day, but we would come up with suggestions or like ideas if we had a lot of people say want to go on one specific trip. So, but we haven't had that yet where it's been over 9.
Awesome. I know these were a lot of questions, but
Oh,
thank
no.
you for the
Oh, you're
great work
welcome.
you're doing. Yeah. Anyone else?
Trudy is, okay.
Trudy, Renee?
I have some questions.
Yeah.
Just on the Sunrise Room itself, just as far as part of our facilities, is there anything that you can think of that our Sunrise Room needs as far as, maintenance or concerns that you might have with the facility?
We actually today just scheduled to have the carpet cleaned. It's going to be cleaned this Saturday. So that's something that we've noticed, and just a lot of people go through there. So to have that cleaned. As far as like tables and chairs and equipment, where everything's working properly, like
Bathroom, kitchen?
bathroom, everything's like our dishwasher works. Like
Okay.
there's no like pressing maintenance. So, thank you.
What?
A few months ago, we had all of the blinds replaced in
Right.
the Sunrise Room.
$1,000 curtains. I do remember that. Or
A little more, a
Okay.
little less?
Just a little bit more. Like,
A little more?
less. Okay.
oh, you said 10. I thought you said 2. It
Yeah,
was
no,
less than
10.
10,000. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because a couple of them weren't working anymore, and a couple were miscolored. So now all of the blinds, the high and the low, are all brand new.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that was a maintenance. Yes.
Okay. Well, just wanted to make sure that the senior room, which is being used a lot, if there's any maintenance issues that maybe, we'll hear about it.
Yeah.
The other thing is I'd really like to shout out to Teresa, because she is the heart and soul of the Sunrise Room. She's there every day. She greets everyone with a smile and has such a great attitude. So thank you, Teresa.
Yes.
I was thinking about fitness, and agile aging is one thing, but I mean, we could I mean, I'd like us to really look at like some kind of fitness classes for seniors that are not necessarily just about sitting in chairs, but maybe dancing, maybe something a little more. I mean, I like the hiking. That's great. And just something on a regular basis keeps us strong as seniors, you know? So yeah, every day, let's raise the bar.
I love that idea. I mean, I have this vision, and I think we're well on our way of Brisbane just being a world-class city. I mean, with this, you know, we already got certified, but we are small enough that I think, and we have enough volunteerism that we could create a lot with what we have and build on this very awesome foundation.
Yes.
And we have other facilities that, like, you know, the bottom of the old library room is a great room to do, you know, it has a great floor. And so we don't have to be in the sunrise room doing exercises.
Yeah.
Anyways, just something maybe we could build on.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
As far as like the schedule, like looking at the schedule through Monday through Friday, it looks like there's like afternoon classes on Thursdays, right? And then something after like 2 o'clock on Fridays. Has there been any requests for like something like after 5 o'clock or like, you know, things like that, or like on weekends socially, or?
At this time, I haven't heard anything lately. We have had in the past a couple events that have been like Friday afternoons that go a little bit into the evening, but I've never like heard anything about evenings past 5 o'clock or weekends to this point. It could be something that like we throw out there to suggest, like, would people be interested in programming like from time to time in our off hours, and kind of see what the participation numbers would be for that. Yeah. Any other? Yes. Yeah.
The agile aging, I know I showed up one time, it was too many people. So do you do it at the Sunrise Room or at the community center?
Right now, we're doing it at the Sunrise Room, and it comfortably fits, like, I would say 20 people. So we have had more than that. We did find that if there's more than 20, we can still accommodate at the Sunrise Room. We just have to stagger some chairs. And as the numbers did get higher, we were working on a plan to either make a couple classes to make sure we didn't have it overcrowding. So about 20 people is our limit, but our numbers have kind of scaled back a little bit since then. So, but we will have a plan to, if we start to go up in numbers, to make sure we don't have too many.
Okay.
So just to action that, I wonder if we can put advertising somewhere and ask people in the community who are interested in volunteering in that capacity, like yoga teachers, fitness teachers, people who would be, you know, conditioned in that space.
Does it have to be volunteers?
That's a good question.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, I guess,
Maybe we
do they
pay-
need to be certified?
yeah,
Okay.
usually they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then do you have sign up, like, so to avoid the always over 20 count, have you thought about sign-ups for certain classes?
I have, yes, for agile aging. So once, as it gets into spring and then definitely summer, we'll definitely do signups, because I want to know
Yeah.
if we're going to be going over the 20, so we can plan ahead for that.
Yeah.
Because we started to have a plan, and then as soon as we were going to put it in action, then the numbers kind of
Yeah.
went down a little bit to make it more comfortable. So having a pre-sign up
Yeah.
was something that we discussed.
Yeah, and I guess I wonder, like, for times when it does overflow, just having like an option to walk instead. Just so that if people would, because honestly, I can see where some people might, rather than being in a crowded room, go for a walk with a few people instead of
It's a good idea.
being in a crowded room.
Yeah, having an option.
Yeah.
Well, there's also, I think we could cross-reference the water aerobics. A lot of seniors really like the water aerobics because it's non-impact,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You just have to get in the water. That's,
that
that's
is.
the only problem.
I've had that feedback, and just in the interest of time, what I'm going to suggest is that we bring this topic of fitness for our seniors to the next senior subcommittee meeting and explore further from there.
Do we have you done formal surveys to find out what people are interested in, or is it kind of just you talking with them and?
It's me actively talking to them. We set aside time in our schedule to do like feedback sessions. We haven't done an official survey, but like I'd say daily I'll get a suggestion or like, hey, the next time we do this activity,
Yeah.
can we change it this way?
That's
So
great.
there's constant feedback and communication.
Yeah, that's probably better than the survey.
Yeah, but we could try a survey too, but yeah.
Yeah, because then it might reach people that really don't participate in a lot of this stuff in the
Yeah.
survey.
That's always the goal
You know,
to see,
you
yeah.
can't just count on the people who stop by the sunrise room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
I'm losing my voice.
Oh,
I can feel it going.
Well,
Blessing,
thank
right?
you, Jeff. Again, obviously we're super engaged with this. I think it's so important. So really, thank you for presenting and representing us so well.
and one tiny note, I'm just thinking back, that the senior club used to be kind of a private little club for people who were kind of, friends of friends and, not outreach to many other people. And I'm really hoping that's changing. It seems like it is. Seems like you're getting a pretty good crowd.
Yeah.
But I would just like to not be cliquish and be more
Oh.
outreach to more people.
It's-
Because it does tend to get that way. Yeah.
Well, we do try to, anytime we see somebody who comes in who's not part of the club, or if they ask about it, it's like, hey, come to the next Wednesday lunch, come to bingo. It's like, and then we don't tell them up front that like the large amount of $10 a month. But
No, and it's obvious by how many people you're getting at those
Yeah, and
lunches
we've
that you're really
definitely-
reaching out. So
we've
that's-
definitely, that club has grown since I've been here, but it's mainly word of mouth. So,
Good.
yeah,
Okay,
and people just stopping by.
great.
Any other questions? Well, thank you.
Good job, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we're going to move on to old business, the Festival of Lights debrief.
Yeah, so I don't know if you all feel the same, but it feels like a long time ago with all the holidays and winter festivities that have taken place since Festival of Lights. But as is customary, we like to bring the event debrief back to the full commission to kind of hear from all of you what worked well and what didn't. And staff can respond and kind of share from our perspective how things went. But for those of you that were in attendance, we certainly welcome your feedback from this year's event.
I grabbed a camera, and
Kidding.
seeing the joy from my perspective with the camera was a lot of happy people, and it was a beautiful night. It couldn't have been any better. And boy, Jovi, you rocked the mic. Thank you for taking over for me, and you did a wonderful job as well. But I have no complaints at all. It was just a really beautiful way to kick off the season.
I saw lots of happy kids, lots of happy, and families. It was a family event. I mean, it was multi-generational. The flash mob, I had so much fun doing the flash mob. It was well done. We're raising the bar every year. So there you go.
Okay, number one, I thought Natalie did an outstanding job. I really did. And the other one was. Jovi, yeah. And I think I let you know that I was just so impressed. Watched it afterwards when my daughter and granddaughter came to town and we were watching it. And my granddaughter goes, I really like this town. And I said, oh, that's neat. And then my daughter goes, why didn't they do this when I was a kid? Because she grew up here. But I thought the two of you did a fantastic job. I really did. You just jumped in with those kids and everything. It's like, oh, I like her. She's so cool. Thank you. So I thought it was wonderful. And I walked down for a minute and then went back to my balcony to watch it that way. It was cool.
I also think the staff did very well, like the whole planning, just managing the whole activities, the different booths, and also, who was it, JoJo and everyone else with the lights, what is it, the background, the photo booth. And then also a shout out to our cookie vendor, right? Like the cookies and the hot chocolate and the ciders, always like really well popular. People will wait in line, like for treats, like, but looking at everyone's face, everyone was just happy and just, it was just nice. It was just like a great time, great weather. Thanks,
Yeah.
Tom, for all the photos. And Joey's always fun. He's always has this sense of humor and looks at everyone as like.
I believe Joby goes by Jovial now.
Yeah, my parents named me that for a reason.
There were technical difficulties too, but you guys powered through it beautifully.
Some of the items that we didn't speak to yet that I did just want to recognize, we had the new fire pit area, which Ricardo and Jeff really took the lead on, and it was well populated, well used, and Silver Spot was there and was selling some beer and wine and had some snacks and a little table for kids to do some coloring. So that was a great addition. I think we got lots of compliments on the tree and the added decor in the community. So again, that's a testament to the work that these guys do. Other community elements, Cassandra Bousquet's poem was read by Dan Carter. We had a Club Rec Kinder song. We had the Lions Club peace posters in the window. Deanna Washington was there speaking to the peace pickets. The library was out. Lippman Orchestra played. Just a number of things that these are all ideas that really came from our work with the commission and with our subcommittee, and so really amazing to see them come to life. And also want to say, JoJo and Aaron, we so appreciate all the dedication and love. It just was, you could see it in that community park. And then the artists that were also out as well. And then it was mentioned that Shanki was the bakery that did the cookies, so we truly appreciate the support from them. And then Julie's Deli contributed to the hot cocoa and cider. So just being able to have that added element of support from the community, it was really special.
And also Camille Salmon, who organized the flash mob,
Yeah.
weeks and weeks of practice.
Absolutely.
I mean, real dedication.
Yeah.
It was great.
And I'll just add that in the 10 years that I've been here, that was the greatest attendance at Festival of Lights since I've been here and possibly ever. There were hundreds of people more than we expected. We increased our volume of cocoa and cider and cookies, and we still ran out this year. So
The little toys for the kids.
yeah.
Oh, they
So
love
I think it's something to be mindful of as we embark on these budget conversations for the new year, and consideration for our requests to City Council when the time comes, because it is such a well-attended event, which is a great reflection of our community.
I wasn't there myself, but I had several people come up to me and tell me it was the best Festival of Lights ever. So, well
a high
done.
bar.
All right. Next, we have an update on the ongoing research of the Parks and Recreation Foundation, which was in the packet. Noreen, my thinking with that is, like, this is something that we've talked about a lot. It was really nice to have all the research together and all of the information in one place to refer to. I actually added my notes on speaking to San Mateo because I noticed that I hadn't done that. But this is a key topic for us, I think, for our workshop. And we have a calendar item coming up where we'll talk about that. But kind of planting the seeds there that, you know, we now have a body of research and information that we can refer to at the workshop when we discuss this further.
Yes.
All right. That brings us to new business, the age-friendly action plan update.
All right. Well, I hope you were able to take some time to read through the action plan that was put together. Chairperson Sim, Commissioner Davis are routinely a part of the conversations that have been had to get to this point today. But really today wanted to be able to provide some updates and insights as to where we are at with this process. The action plan is a comprehensive overview of feedback received in a wide range of proposed projects, and it's hopefully something that we can use to steer future conversations. It's not necessarily concrete of what needs to happen, but more of a roadmap of some suggestions from the meetings that have been held. So just a little bit of background on the topic. So the Global Network of Age-Friendly Cities provides resources to help communities support individuals to live comfortably in their homes and communities. It encourages older residents to take an active role in having their voices heard. So some of the areas, the domains, which are listed throughout this action plan that is shared out is housing, transportation, social participation, respect and social inclusion, civic participation and employment, communication and information, community support and health and services, and outdoor spaces and buildings. So 10,000 United States adults turn 65 daily, and this will continue through 2030. So we're really lucky to be where we are, and especially here within the San Mateo County. The Board of Supervisors are really supportive of this mission and direction, and they created the San Mateo County Age Friendly Initiative. And that's also where we were then put in contact with, partnered with Center for Age Friendly Excellence, and they're the ones who really helped us to be able to get to where we are today. So Ann Keegren is with the Center for Age Friendly Excellence and has really been the one who's the point person from their organization who has helped us in kind of putting all this together. First reached out in December 2022 to the city manager at that time and mentioned how important this was. And it really got to council in 2023. They affirmed their support of the effort and then started to draft the application. So from that point, that's where those 6 focus groups were held. There were task force groups with older adults 55 plus, older adults with priority needs, ethnic group of older adults, and underserved residents 55 plus in geographical areas that are not usually represented. We also put out an age-friendly survey through AARP. It was a very lengthy survey, but it was one that is done throughout all of the networks that AARP works with. So we were kind of stuck to that framework, but with that, we did still receive 152 responses. While AARP initially thought it was a little bit lower than their standard, we are also a town of less than 5,000. So for us and for some of the surveying that has been done previously, we were pretty okay with that number. So that survey was available from September 2023 to January 2024. With that survey, there was also a town hall that was held during senior lunch at the community center, farmers market outreach, a variety of outreach through the city's communication team, and then from this process, learning that we need to do a little bit more work in our communication with Sierra Point Mobile Home Park and the Ridge residents. So that's also been something that has been incorporated through this process. In June 2024, there were interviews that were conducted with some of the task force as well as the Center for Age Friendly Excellence staff. And they met with each of the department heads, kind of getting their feedback on the information that was gathered through the survey, through these meetings, and then to help us shape this action plan. So with that, today, I'm kind of here just to say, here is our lovely action plan. It is robust, 93 pages of love and ideas and we will be going to city council next Thursday and really presenting this to them as here's what we've been working on, and this is what we are hoping to submit to WHO for their final endorsement of that, and then we kind of go from there. So with that, I wanted to open it up to if you had any questions or comments with regards to the action plan and go from there.
I mean, the one thing I'll say is, you know, kudos to everyone who worked on this, especially you, Nicole, and, you know, and Noreen, and just our amazing team. There are a lot of action items for Parks and Rec in this plan, so I just want to make sure that when we do our workshop or our planning, that we are cross-referencing.
Absolutely, and I think that's what was wonderful when we had our needs assessment survey too. Having a reference like this for future planning is going to be really helpful.
I also just want to emphasize that this just isn't just Park and Rec. I mean, this is the whole city. This is a whole city, a holistically made plan, and I think all areas of the city government represented in here are, it's really good. So I just wanted to say it's not just Park and Rec, it's the whole city. And it's the whole town too. I mean, everybody may not be a senior, but have seniors in their families, have neighbors. So this is a really important product, and I'm really glad you guys worked on it.
And if we aren't seniors, we're going to be seniors if we're lucky.
If we're lucky.
Yeah.
This should be printed. This really should be printed in color and handed out to people. I think it's really amazing. Well done.
Yep. I guess like for comments also, it's a really well thought out, very detailed and very specific to our town. So, and looking at the photos too, like all the, and just the analytics behind it, it's incredible. 90 pages.
I will
Great
say
work.
that was one that Center for Age-Friendly Excellence said. We worked with a number of cities, and Brisbane had a wonderful array of photos that really you could tell the love and community within the photos. Those aren't stock photos.
No, they're not. It's definitely customized to the city of Brisbane.
I mean, I don't know if you want, I just like a little bit of detail on, and not, how do I say this? Your impression, I guess, more than anything, of, I think of transportation here in Brisbane for people who are seniors as probably one of our bigger challenges. And I know that, I see like it's domain 2. And so can you just speak a little bit about how, like relative to some of the other things you're thinking about for this plan, where does transportation fall, and how big of a challenge do you perceive that to be? And if you're not ready to answer that, that's okay. I think my impression is it's hard. I think
Yeah.
maybe I'm just wondering if I'm wrong or right.
Yeah, I think it's somewhat subjective, right? There are certainly segments of our senior population that are still driving and still utilizing public transportation, and it's less of a barrier for them than it is the more kind of the older senior that may be challenged by an absence of public transportation or the barriers that exist to access. So I think it's a little bit subjective, but all of the domains are kind of created equally, right? We didn't ask the community to prioritize one need over another, that it's a comprehensive, holistic look at all of the needs. So I don't know that answers your question, but it's really intended to be a broad approach and not just a prioritization of one need over another.
Yeah, great, thanks. Yeah, I think what maybe I'm looking for is how, like there's the survey results, like I see 96% on one part of that domain and 28% on another part of that domain. I'm looking at like page 41 in the packet. And I guess I'm just curious how hard will that be to address for us? I just honestly, I'll be honest with you, I just think about an 85-year-old trying to get into the city for some cool thing. And I don't really know, besides Uber, what we've got for them.
Nothing.
Yeah, and I mean, the action plan is also intended to be a resource for aging individuals in our community. So it's supposed to identify existing services, but also capture where there might be gaps in services. I think we recognize that that the city of Brisbane is not going to be the sole provider to fix all of the solutions, but that we could identify collaborative partners to alleviate some of those issues, and that's part of the strategy here.
Okay, that's super helpful.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No.
I
I had kind of the
Detailed
same,
question.
I had kind of the same take on affordable housing,
Yeah.
which is a huge issue for,
Right.
Yeah.
for many of our seniors. And I'm not sure that the city can address that, but focusing on it and having it in here, you know, brings a highlight to maybe some actions that can help.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are some things that are just large.
And I think what you're both getting at, which was one of my takeaways, there are some problems that are more complex to solve, but some of the Parks and Rec stuff seemed eminently doable to me.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's some of the things we've been talking about, like benches and the Crocker Trail. So that's exciting. But even some of the transportation thing, one of the things we are talking about is making it so that we're making sure seniors who are interested in using services like Uber and Lyft know how to do it, which can sometimes be a barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, so we could all use some of these sessions. So anything else on that? I know it's a very big item and will inform our planning. Before we move on to item G, our fundraising approach for concerts in the park.
I guess one last
Oh, yeah.
comment back. I have to say, I love looking at the pictures of the city. And I go through and I pick out people's homes. And some, it's like amazing how, this is just very beautiful photography. So whoever did that.
And I'll have to give a shout out because a lot of the kind of landscape images of the city were taken by Kevin Fryer. So thank you to Kevin for
Yeah, he's the
graciously
best.
allowing the city to utilize his beautiful images.
Yeah, they're pretty beautiful. Okay, thank you.
So I am curious why Park and Rec took the lead on this.
So it has been customary throughout San Mateo County for the Park and Rec agencies to kind of be the lead, or the Park and Rec departments to be the lead. I will also give a huge kudos to Karen Cunningham because she was the champion on City Council to really drive this forward. And so from that perspective, it made sense to partner with Parks and Recreation because we are the primary direct line of communication to seniors just based on the programs and services that we provide. So in that sense, it made sense because there's a natural kind of direct line to the senior population. But we did definitely engage all of the other department heads in the conversation about the different domains that were specific to their departments and their program areas. So it was a collaborative effort, but Nicole and Karen have really kind of been the champions behind this.
That's a really big thing to take on. Thank you.
Thank you.
One last thing. There's a survey result that I think we should all be very proud of. 95% of respondents rated the community as good to excellent in being a place for people to live as they age. I mean, that's pretty spectacular.
Awesome, thank you. All right, next we have our fundraising approach for the 2025 Concerts in the Park series.
Me again. Hello. So we have had some conversations kind of leading up to this with regards to our concert series and the commission wanting to get a little bit more inside information and also maybe some further and additional planning with staff with regards to concert fundraising. We've mentioned before that the fundraising that occurs through the help of kind of community support and our sponsorship program really does help it puts together the concert series. We also mentioned that last year we did fall short from what we have raised previously. So usually we are in a range of about $11,000 to $14,000, and that is what we are able to then put on a really stellar concert series with that. And we did still achieve, we're planning to achieve similar for 2025. We already are kind of finalizing details now, but with that, it's just looking at, we're always wanting to see how we could make improvements. And this staff report here kind of gave some recommendations. And while I don't necessarily think the approach is to try and do all of the things that were listed as bullet points, but we have already tried to do the cabanas, and I don't necessarily know if in the way that they were offered, it didn't seem like there was interest. People like to get them and not pay for them, which is lovely, but that's not bringing in money. So this staff report just really gave some background information on the series to hopefully answer any unanswered questions for the commission and the community, as well as share some ideas that were kind of brought to light of, do we want to look at something like this, and then realistically what it could be to move forward with that. And then that next attachment then kind of gives, here we are, it's January. Realistically, what is it looking like to accomplish, and some of the things that we already have on our plan to accomplish these goals, and then also how is the commission going to be a part of that, and then really like when the concert is here as well, really hoping that commissioners will be present at those concerts as you guys usually are, but maybe with the lens of how can we bring in money at the same time. And then, Jeff and I go out and hit the town and are in person talking to businesses, and we have our list of folks who have graciously donated in the past. But if there are other ways, it's kind of a forum here of here's what we have, here's what we're thinking, and we're always open to more ideas and suggestions.
How many concerts are there? Can you remind us?
Was it 5?
6?
I think 5. Yeah, 4 plus the Lions Club concert, which is the dance
So
one.
5. So it's like
And what we've
6,000
been,
or 2,000 per or something.
give or take, yeah, some of like the Pride and Joy, I think, is a little bit like 25, 28.
There's like 30 people in the band. So.
Yeah, correct.
Thank you.
Can you remind us like what the most successful fundraiser is? It's just like reaching out to businesses, right?
Yeah, we have our community members who are kind of ongoing donors, which is really wonderful. But then, of course, with COVID or different things occurring, sometimes the amounts have pushed back a little bit, or there's been some who have not decided to return for whatever reason. So I think just looking at other ways that we could improve our approach would be helpful.
I have kind of a crazy idea. Just brainstorming. When I go to concerts in the park, I always see groups of people who planned on meeting there, and they have their blankets, and they're a certain group of people, and they, they plan on being there, and that's their spot, and it's kind of like I used to work at a music festival in Yosemite called the Strawberry Music Festival, and people would have camps, and my camp was Can't Believe You're Here, or Can't Believe We're Here. We all had silly punny names, and, you were in your camp. And I kind of feel like people are in their camps at this festival, and it'd be kind of cool to maybe highlight these camps, highlight these groups of people, and see if they could get together to donate as a group, and say, if you're coming with a group, maybe you get a little sign that says, we donated to this festival, or, somehow you mark the camp, mark the group of people, and they get called out, as is like, hey, Camp Alvarado over there, you're doing great, and they donated $60, and, just whatever. I'm just thinking that seems to be kind of what the gathering of the concerts in the park is, or it has been historically. So that's just, I don't know how we do that, but I think as a group, like if I was going with 5 different people, I would say, hey, let's all chip in $10 and donate it to the cause, you know?
I think this is amazing. You know, the VIP thing always bothered me because it's like people with money win, but this is a group of people getting together for a plot of land, and they can compete against each other for the plot of land, right? That would be
Oh,
fun.
no. Oh, you mean the best? I don't know. I think for me, it would just be kind of more group pride.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
you know what
for
I mean?
sure.
Like, this is my group, and we all donated $10 or whatever it was that we got together and decided. Maybe there's something like who can raise the most as a group. You get a free bottle of champagne, you know, if you do. I don't know. This is just trying to think of the people who come, the people who enjoy.
Yeah.
Maybe they would feel more invested. If we'll have to
There's
flesh
a
this.
family group that shows up that I met last year, and they come from out of town. And they come to every concert, and they like the afternoon ones because they said they get to stay longer. Now, that would be a good group to hit up. I mean, you just walk over, hey, you know, welcome, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
You know,
maybe
kinda
we.
show people that you care about them in the way that, like, take a picture. I don't think we advertise enough about what the rec department does. You know, I have friends, and they grew up here, and they'll go, so what do you guys do? I'm like, oh, okay, you got 10 minutes. How about 20?
Yeah.
You know, but I think we need to advertise more on what we're doing. You know, concerts in the park is just such a cool idea. I just love the whole thing. You know, I look forward to Sunday afternoon or Friday night. You know, the glass of wine on my balcony, listening to the tunes. I mean, it's just a really cool concept. But I don't think we advertise it enough to people about how much it really costs to put this on.
How's the merch do so far? It's kind of new.
Which one?
Merch.
Merch?
Yeah. Blankets and
We historically haven't done a great deal with merch. We've given donors T-shirts, and then as there have been excess, we've sold those off for a nominal fee. But last year it was very cold on those Friday evenings, and we had some leftover blankets in Park and Rec storage that we had purchased for LunaFest to sell when we were outdoors during COVID for LunaFest, and those sold out. So I think there's definitely an opportunity there.
merch and bands go hand in hand. That's the reason why they're in concerts. So
And I know, like, when a lot of people go to concerts, they love the merch with the T-shirts, right? With all bands, names, the theme, like whatever the logo is. Even pins, right? People collect pins and they put it on their hats or something, and they have an annual pin or whatever it is. Noreen, there's also the banners that you created in Brisbane on the pole, on the light poles. Those were really cool. Like having someone sponsor like a light pole, like with your band. How long can you, like someone could sponsor one of those saying, thank you, Brisbane, here's whoever the sponsor is. Maybe it's like a graduation, right? Like honoring somebody, an athlete or something, and they're on a light pole, like, you know, redoing something like that.
And once you decide who the bands are, which, by the way, 2 have already said that they want to participate this year, and they appear at the Brisbane Inn, but they're from Brisbane, and they're good. So I said, send a tape. I told them who to send it to. But I was thinking, you know, before you used to buy your concert T-shirt, and it would show the road trip. Instead of the road trip, once we know who it is, we print up the T-shirts and have the bands on the back and the date. You know, so it looks like a road trip, like my old ones. You know? Just a thought.
I agree with all of this. I think one thing that is missing a little bit is just the recognition that individuals and individual families support this. Like when I moved to Brisbane, I had no idea. I just thought official sponsors were all businesses. So I think making it really attractive to individuals somehow through maybe you get merch if you donate, or you enter a raffle to get a prize basket or something like that. But 2, our just commitment as commissioners to staff each one and having some cool vessel that stands out. We could make it really fun with rhinestones or whatever, that we're collecting money, because getting people in that moment where they're having such a good time, it's free, and we can have conversations and be like, by the way, if you'd like to donate, and have a chance to win something, follow this QR code. But I think that's the thing. And to make that happen, we need to make sure, and this is going to sound curmudgeonly, but the bands are sometimes asking for tips and passing out, and that would interfere. So I think part of our deal with the bands has got to be like, we're asking for donations, not you.
Yes,
We could do a raffle.
yes.
I mean, raffles are pretty popular with big crowds.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I was gonna ask, where does that money go? Like, if we raise money,
Mhm.
where does that go?
It goes to the cost, it supports the cost of the bands directly.
Okay, and
Yep.
so if the band is like sending around its own little basket.
Yeah.
They also get that, so,
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so much money there, sitting
Right.
there at the concert.
Right.
Aren't they gonna kind of get the same, whether they send around their own?
Well, I
Well,
think
they get
that's where
little
we have to say, we're
Yeah.
paying you.
Yeah.
You're not getting tips.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
you're getting the payment from the city.
Okay,
Right,
yeah, thanks.
exactly.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
understand that, because I do think, I don't think, yeah, we would have to.
'Cause
I
we
mean, I
pay
will
them
say, there
well.
was one concert where they did do, it was Lions Club. They actually went out at the very, very, very end and just ran around with a
pay
little
them, don't we?
basket, and people,
No. And the Lions Club, I would say,
That's
and
a
not just
different
because I'm a Lion,
situation,
it's a
'cause they're-
different
yeah.
situation. I know
Yeah.
you're a Lion too, because they're
they're
donating, they're not
they're
being
raising money
paid.
for,
Not being paid when they.
They're
No.
not being
they're-
paid.
that was raising
But
money for a
all of the
scholarship.
other bands are getting several $1,000s to be there. And so I think the money that gets passed around should go to us to pay them.
I agree.
Well, that's where our whole foundation and, how we raise money, how it's put into our fund specifically. Yeah, that's all kind of ties up. But I think there's lots of creative ways to do it. And Concerts in the Park committee can take these ideas and run with some of them and see what happens. But I do think we need to step up our fundraising, not just leave it on businesses. That kind of gets old.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and so just to kind of make sure I have notes correct, that then hopefully we can bring back to an upcoming concert subcommittee, is some of the ideas that are coming from here is continuing or having the concert merchandise. In here, I had like a buy a seat campaign, but that could be kind of like the camp campaign where you're allowing people to buy a seat for a certain amount or an area for a certain amount. Gathering testimonials from past sponsors about the positive impact it had on their business. I think doing a better job of showing that picture. We mentioned raffle as something to look into. And then wine and beer, I think, is one that would be. But again, that goes hand in hand with a foundation. But even if there is a way to look at that, where someone else could raise it on behalf and get donated to, I don't know, we can look at that. But those
I
are
think we
some of
should
the
look at
things.
this very soon, and I know we're going to talk about committees, but I think this should sit with the committee.
And then the last thing that I had was having commissioners at each concert with a bucket. Like, that is something that we can say, we good with that? So, yeah, I think thanks for the feedback and direction, and we'll be talking soon. And we will this will go to council.
Well, just the authorization to solicit donations and fundraising will go to council next week.
And does that also include like with merch? Do we have to like get the, okay.
No.
Because it looks like reading the background, last year we fell short, right? We raised 8,000 and usually we raise about up to like 14 or 15, right? Got it.
All right, so with that, we kind of clear on next steps, and we will look at the calendar. And Noreen, are you going to pull it up on the screen?
I will
Or
ask
not Noreen?
Jovi if he could do that for
Jovi.
us so we can look at it
So,
in,
yeah.
in live real time.
I'll take a minute to do that.
What we did was we kind of carried over our calendar from 2024 to make it relevant for 2025 with some of the standard ongoing placeholders of special event debriefs and program area presentations, including kind of lead up for city council budget adoption, where we review master fee schedule and our budget in order to make informed recommendations to the city council. So those items are on there, as well as our annual reorg, and at some point we will have a new commissioner join us
How
in the
many,
first
how
quarter.
many commissioners do we get? Just one?
There are 3 seats.
Oh, good.
I think Lisa and Julie, your terms are up, so you have to reapply if you haven't already. And then Frank's seat will need to be filled. So typically council conducts those interviews in like February, and then swear in new committee and commission members by March or so. If there are new commissioners, they would come on board by March or April at the latest.
How do you decide?
We don't decide. The city council conducts interviews.
Oh, they do?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
I still remember that.
I do too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
Mine was
yeah.
Zoom too.
Yes.
And
So-
just for anybody who's watching or listening, January 10th is the day that applications need to go in. So if you're
Correct.
interested, tomorrow's your day. Get it in.
There you go.
How long do we serve?
4 years.
Thank you, Jovi, for pulling that up so quickly. Much appreciated. So, yeah, if you have any proposed edits, we can modify. This is also a living document over the course of the year. As we have items that are added to the agenda, we will update and populate the calendar and bring that back to the commission on a regular basis. So at this point, Julie and Jovi and I sat down to kind of forecast the next couple of months, but certainly open to hearing from the commission if there's other items you'd like to see added to a future agenda, and we can incorporate it.
I think one of the big ones to talk about is when we want to have our workshop. We decided to make it February or March when we would have our additional council or commission members. I'd like to get that nailed down just because it's going to be here before we know it. And
We did.
yeah, the board game, we played Wits and Wagers.
We had
Fun.
Carolina, our finance director, came,
Yes.
spoke about finances. So
And this time we talked about opening it up to others who are interested in being part of the foundation. So we could have some with just us and then have that part where we bring people who are interested in the community. Are we thinking a Saturday?
Yeah, I like Saturdays.
I like Saturdays, but I am usually donating food in the morning, so anytime after noon.
Okay. Let's see.
And we're talking February?
I think February might be a little bit ambitious, just not knowing the schedule yet for interviews
Oh, right.
for the city council and getting people sworn in. I think March is probably on the safer
We had mid-March, right? March 19th, we had that.
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe March 15th? The Ides of March.
It's much.
Very Ides of March.
Yes.
I like it. It's hard to forget.
Yes. Does that work for you all?
Works for me.
What's the
Noreen
date
and
of St.
team?
Patrick's Day this year?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, St. Patrick's weekend, if you're doing anything.
We will double check that works on our end, but do you want to throw out a second?
How about
Date.
the 22nd?
Noreen, what dates are best for
Yeah.
your team too? Like what
We'll
dates?
make anything work.
Both work for me.
Okay, so people can do the 15th or the 22nd. We won't have it in the morning. When are you done, Lisa, with the?
Noon.
By noon. So like it could be from noon to
Yeah.
3 or 4, something
March
like that.
22nd, I'm out of town.
Oh, not the 22nd then. How about 29th?
Like the 8th or the
8th.
15th works for me.
8th?
Yeah.
Tom
Can we
says
say the
no to
8th or the
29th.
15th?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I like 8th better.
Yeah.
Is that too early? I don't know.
No, it's not. The 15th actually is my weekend off for food delivery. So,
That could be
So it-
especially good.
so that could be optional to be earlier.
Like
on the
11 to 2, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we will work to confirm and then send out a calendar invite.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to suggest this year, I wonder, instead of a facilities tour, I really like how we toured neighboring facilities, but one of the things, and it doesn't have to be formal, so, but when we're talking about all these staircases in town that we want to improve, I don't know where some of them are.
know
Or
all
what
of
we're
them are.
talking about. And it seems like it's a big part of the age-friendly task force plan. It's something we've talked about. So it struck me that maybe we could tour those staircases and other areas.
And trails.
And
like
trails.
there's interior trails that have no staircases.
Right.
You know, like Castaños
Yeah,
Canyon.
Your secret path.
Yeah, your secret paths. I know all of them.
So it's a question. I know we'll have a new member, so, you know, but I,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's certainly something we can do. Given the timeline for construction on the San Bernardino to Alvarado stairway, I think the stairs will be in place by then, or
amazing.
should be.
Cool.
The art will not be completed by then, but that would be a good time to potentially walk that new stairway. And then we could further identify other locations that are of interest to the commission to visit during that offsite.
I
Great.
need to ask something. Somebody posted on Facebook that there are 58 benches in Brisbane. Does anybody know where they're at? Because I can't find them.
We do have a bench inventory map that I can share with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see that. And that's another thing we should advertise. Hey, there's benches here.
Yeah.
You know, people don't know what's going on a lot of times, and you live in your own little vacuum or your own little world, and especially in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get out, walk around.
But,
Yeah.
you know, I just think we don't advertise enough. I said that earlier, but we just don't let people know what's out there unless you watch, you know, channel, what is it, 26 or 27? I just always say Brisbane Community Channel, but.
Well, we've got a lot of outlets. We've got our electronic sign. We've got
But
our Facebook page. We've got, but yeah, I know. It's like, how do you reach people?
yeah, you know, because a lot of people don't do Facebook or, you know, they don't have time to read the sign.
I have friends that only do Instagram, and I have no clue.
Yeah.
Isn't that terrible? I'm sorry. I'm showing my age. Yeah.
All right. So anything else on the calendar that you all feel like we should change, or are we good with this?
Again, if you have items that you want to add to a future agenda, feel free to reach out to Julie or myself.
These are, okay. Foundation assignments, facility tours. I'm just looking at our normal events. They're not on this, like our normal just events. No, okay, gotcha. I think once we, again, I hate to harp on, but once we establish our foundation, I think a lot of our boosterism and getting out the word on things will be amped up because we'll be having that group take on a lot of the, you know.
It's going to take time, and then
I know, but I'm just saying that's another reason to have, you know, a group of volunteers that are working on Park and
Absolutely.
Rec boosterism.
The other thing I do want to flag is this master fee schedule review and also budget review and priorities. So I do think we as a group really want to be very clear on what our budget priorities are, what we do want to ask city council for. We've talked about a lot of things, and I think we have, you know, now a need to kind of prioritize what we want to ask for, especially in light of all of the things we've reviewed this evening, the age-friendly task
Oh, yeah.
force, et cetera. Any other comments on the calendar? All right, we're off to reports. Just, I had one, it's not a report, but it's a question on aquatics and what's happening with the pool.
That was going to be shared during our department report, but I'll have Nicole respond to it now.
So we have had some challenges with some maintenance backroom, mechanical room failures. Starting around December 20th was when we first had to do a closure. We did have some additional holiday closure days that we haven't had previously. So we were closed 4 days for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day. Previously, we would only be closed for 2 of the 4. So those were newly added holidays. And then kind of in that interim with those closures and then having the mechanical room failure for the at the time it was the heater. We've been having issues with the heater.
I'm just going to quickly interject. So the lifespan of a gas boiler for a pool is typically 15 to 20 years. We're pushing 25. We knew that. And that's why the city embarked on this process of electrification of our gas boiler to remove the gas. The Public Works Sustainability Manager is heading up that project alongside our Deputy Director of Public Works. I've been involved in those conversations. The project is moving along. We had a meeting prior to the holidays with the subcontractors on site regarding the site prep work that's going to be done. That is going to be done, I think, in the next couple of months. The holdup is really at this point PG&E. And so we're trying to pull on whatever strings we can to get them to expedite the process. But we knew that this was coming. And at this point, we're just doing our best to manage through the situation and implement interim solutions that are not extremely costly for the city. So we're trying to be very mindful and fiscally responsible. So it's unfortunate. I am grateful personally that it's the winter and not the peak of summer when we are facilitating hundreds of swim lessons. And I'm appreciative to the community who has been patient and understanding during this closure, but I also recognize that our maintenance team is working very hard to troubleshoot the problem and implement interim solutions until we can have a long-term solution in place.
And with that being said, the pool was open yesterday. The pool was open today. So we are working very closely with Public Works. Public Works does the behind-the-scenes maintenance of the pool. But we are the operations, the staffing, the communication. So really trying to communicate as much as we can. There are still some repairs that are hopefully to be made next week. And again, hopefully we'll see some more longevity from those repairs. But we, again, appreciate the community's patience and the staff's patience, who the lifeguards are just wanting to lifeguard and see your smiling faces as well. So here's hoping we'll see some more progress.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. That brings us to subcommittees. We have a Public Art Advisory Committee meeting that was, wow, lots of meetings held on November 18th, 24th, November 18th and December 10th.
You were out. Darn. It's up to me. Okay. Thank you. Can you remind me, I know one of those meetings was talking to our contracted person who's writing our art master plan. And she came back with a outline, correct? And we reviewed the outline and we found it wonderful. And that pretty much took up the whole meeting, from what I remember. Yeah, you were at that one. Okay.
Yeah.
And what else am I forgetting?
They came to the both meetings, I
Both
believe.
meetings, yeah.
And presented different components of the master plan.
Right.
During those meetings, because it's a lot to digest. So
Yeah.
talked through the flow chart process of privately installed public art and publicly installed public art.
Right.
And then certain pieces of priorities.
Maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of going over that stuff with a fine tooth comb. It's getting very close to being finished, correct? When is it supposed to be finished?
So I think if I'm correct, the timeline was to bring that back to the Public Art Committee in January, have staff review in February, and potentially finalize the plan, bring it to council by March, April.
Mm-hmm. We also had a couple of actions. Did we talk about bringing forth stuff or just looking forward to like Firth Park?
Yeah, so we shared that we had the restoration work completed on the two
Right.
pieces of public art that currently exist at Firth Park. There's a helix and a turtle. They're fairly old pieces that were kind of damaged and needed some restoration. So we had that work conducted. That was kind of phase one of repairing those pieces. And then in the coming months, we will be pushing out an RFP publicly to solicit artists to kind of reimagine those two pieces.
Yeah, so that's exciting. That's another piece of public art that's going to be in Brisbane, maybe even painted by Brisbane artists. I mean, we'll see how it all, washes out.
The North American Terrapin is what I was told it was when we were installing it 1,000 years ago.
What? That thing?
Yeah.
What is it called?
A North American Terrapin. This man stopped and gave Jeannie Berman and I a 10-minute lecture on it.
Did
Could
he?
not call it a turtle.
Oh, the terrapin.
Yeah,
Oh, a North American terrapin.
that's what he said.
Oh, a terrapin.
Oh, yeah.
When you said terrapin, I was thinking about the helix. I was like, that doesn't look like, what is a terrapin? Oh, a terrapin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's staying, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Turtle Park. I mean, come on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just gotta make sure.
And the thing I named it the helix. I don't know what it is. It's that thing that, anyways.
Check that out tomorrow.
Yeah. So that's repaired and ready to go, and we're excited to maybe get some art on that stuff.
It even looks good green. It's very polished. I saw it yesterday.
It's green.
They're both green.
They're both green.
They're kind of
Good
pretty.
background. Good background. Could be anything. Anyways, anything else I'm forgetting? Nope. Okay. So that was that, and we continue on with our putting art all over Brisbane.
Sorry, the other bit was the stairway.
Oh yeah, the stairway is
So the artists are coming to the January meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And we are inviting all of the community to participate in that meeting and provide your input into the final designs for the mosaic that will be on the stair risers, as well as the lighting and the handrail. So that will be kind of the most significant opportunity for public input into that project before final designs are drawn up and then go to city council for approval.
Yeah, and I must say that the artists that were chosen to do metalwork and the mosaic work, both sets of people are just amazing, and it should be really fun to interact with them. And if we definitely welcome members of the public to come and look and see what we're doing.
Yeah.
What day is it? When is it?
Ooh, January
Is it the 20th MLK?
20. I think we had to move it because the holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
20.
I don't want to give wrong misinformation. The 21st.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So we moved it to Tuesday.
Yep. Tuesday, the 21st.
21st. Yeah. That's what
Yeah.
I thought.
And, I just realized I had one more
5:15.
thing for my chairperson report. Just a quick thing. We all have this California magazine. I was just so pleased and proud to see two items on Brisbane. One is from Sarah Lopez. She wrote about what to do when you get it wrong, and it's basically when you get someone's pronouns wrong. And it's such a relevant, appropriate, a great example in here. So I was very proud. I marked it if anybody wants to see it. And then So that's on page 19, and on page 27, we have Nicole, our own Parks and Recreation hero, nominated by, I think, Noreen, and awesome. I couldn't agree more with this write-up, but it was really nice to see Brisbane representing so well.
And shout out to Jesse Aloff. They assisted Sarah in writing that article. So
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so going back, we've had we need to set our subcommittee meetings. Any recommendations on things that are, I'd like to set a meeting on the seniors.
I have since Frank has stepped out of that, may I join if no one else is interested too? Because
That would be great.
Because I'll be honest with you, I feel like last year my subcommittee activities were very light.
That would be excellent. Yes, thank you.
And I should say that you'll see Frank's name crossed off on the subcommittees that he was assigned to. When we have new commissioner or commissioners on board, we will do a full kind of reorg of the subcommittees as well at that time.
Then let's not do it now if we're going to do it in a month.
But we will have a seniors subcommittee meeting. Who else is on that? Renee, myself, Trudy?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to throw out a meeting date?
Yeah. How about February 4th, the afternoon?
I think right now I could be here by 4:30.
Does that work? Does that work with you, Trudy? Okay.
We'll
Can
confirm.
we do 4:45? Just because I have to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will confirm with staff, and then Jovi will send out the calendar invite. Thanks, Jovi.
Are we moving forward with the foundation feasibility meeting? We're waiting for after our
Yes, after our workshop. Yes.
Okay.
But I would like to have one on concerts in the parks. That's the other one, since we want to get that fundraising strategy in place.
So that's Trudy, Natalie, and Julie.
Free next, are we doing this a week, the following week, next week? Do we normally do this? I mean, like, when's a good time?
I'm out of town the 15th through the 20th, but I could do later that week, or how about the last week in January?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe the 29th? That Wednesday,
Does 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock?
Yeah, I'm doing carpool, but can
Oh.
I dial in?
How about, let's see,
I'm available on the 30th.
I could do the 30th. 4 o'clock on the 30th?
Person, yeah.
Okay.
Does that work for your?
Okay.
Trudy, that works for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, we'll confirm and send out calendar invites.
And I'm not sure if it's too early to bring this up because I think it's in the fall that we do this, but it's time to start planning our garden tour. That's coming up for the second, it's biannual, so every other year.
Technically, we did it in June of
Oh,
2023.
June, okay.
However, if we were open to a fall, we can do that as
Well, fall, we do the garden show.
Right.
So I kind of want to separate those.
Yeah.
So if that were the case, probably sooner rather than later.
Yeah, so let's plan that soon. We gotta start strategizing.
Yeah. Do you want to schedule it between now and the next commission meeting, or do you want to schedule it at the next commission meeting? That would be the events subcommittee, which is Lisa and Tom.
Yeah. With staff.
Yeah.
I don't know, Tom. We'd just be brainstorming a little bit. It can be a big meeting. Anytime.
Okay.
January? Okay, soon. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. What's your schedule like? Okay. Yeah, following. 27th is great. Okay, we'll tentatively do the 27th. I don't know what my schedule's like then. I have some business down in LA that's pretty important, but with all the stuff
Fires.
going on down there, it might get postponed, so we'll see.
Okay, we'll say tentatively the 27th at what time, Tom? 5:30?
Okay.
Okay. And then public art is already scheduled for the 21st. Great.
All right, are we all set with subcommittee meetings? Do we have any commissioner reports?
I have a question.
Yes.
Bio break.
Okay. I was looking back on our November 13th meeting, and I said I would be a liaison to the ad hoc committee with the idea committee. So I watched one of their meetings, and they're kind of doing the same thing we are in our own way. And I was wondering, what is the job description to be a liaison? Do I go to their meetings? Do I just be quiet? I'm kind of wondering.
No, you,
What did he say?
you don't need to attend their meetings. If that's of interest to you, you're more than welcome to. But the intention there was that on occasion throughout the course of the year, there may be things that overlap. For example, we had involved them in the conversation around Festival of Lights this year. So there are some initiatives or events that involve both their committee and our commission. And so we felt that it would be helpful to identify folks that could liaison between the two. So it's more of an as needed ad hoc subcommittee. And so we'll schedule those meetings as the need arises.
But I could go to the meetings.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guess that's the only way
Yeah.
I learn stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
And you'll alert Trudy if there's something she definitely should liaise with. Okay. Okay, good. Thank you for that. Staff reports.
All right. Classes and programs. Tonight we had a sound bath class for the community. 18 people in attendance. So that is wonderful. And they're just wrapping up, and I heard it was great. Baseball registration is open. So that's the 10U, 8U, and T-ball. So look for that. The registration link is on our Park and Rec website. Winter camp. So when the kids are out on holiday, we still have our seasonal camps. How the holidays landed this year, it made camp a little crunchy. We had 1 week where it was just the 1 day, and then the second week where it was 3 days. But a little bit smaller that first week. I think there was about 15, and then 30 plus kids the following week. So lots of games and activities with their favorite staff. Summer camp registration opens on February 4th, and we are getting a number of families calling, inquiring about that information. So we'll promote that more. It was in our activity guide, but we will continue to get that word out so families know. That's the date for residents, and then 2 weeks out is open for non-residents. We mentioned earlier that there was a senior art show at the Brisbane Library a while back, and currently there is a youth art show, and that is with the work of Miss Shirley and her students. So that's there through the 28th of this month, so please do make sure you check that out. You may have seen, and I know we spoke about it at the November meeting, but the Life Unlocked survey is live and open. So we have some good responses right now, but I'm not going to say the number yet because I haven't gone through the data. But impressive. So we'll see. We have a Grand Friends event coming up on the 16th. That was what was mentioned in Jeff's presentation. Noreen, did you have something you want to add? Oh, okay, yeah. It's you.
Okay. Julie had asked if I could briefly provide an update regarding the Crocker Trail CEQA, as well as Mission Blue. If you recall, council did allocate some federal funding towards those projects. So the progress update regarding Crocker Trail is that we've had a couple of meetings with the consultants who conducted who completed the master plan on Crocker Trail, who are also willing to do the environmental analysis. And so they're refining their scope. We were able to provide them with some documentation that was part of the resurfacing of Crocker Trail that will help inform their process. So they're refining scope and going to come back to the city with a modified estimate of cost for services. And then that contract would go to city council for their stamp of approval. We are anticipating their team is ready to go. And so as soon as we're ready to green light it, they're ready to start work on that. So we think that could be potentially completed within the first half of the year, which is great. And with regards to Mission Blue, we have spoken with the consultant that did the new library, Siegel and Strain. They have a team that could tackle that project within the first half of this year as well. And so Jeremy and I are talking with them, their principal, next week to refine scope on that project. My understanding is that the focus will really be on the kitchen, but potentially that will be examining the building in its entirety to assess existing conditions and analyze potential needs for the future, things like ADA upgrades and so forth. So again, doors. And so that contract would be approved by city council as well. So both conversations are moving forward, and we're hopeful to get the ball rolling on both. So that's the update there. And then just a quick recap of upcoming events. We have Teen Night on January 15th, Senior Trip to Grayton on the 21st. Mob Shop will be held at Mission Blue again on the 24th and 25th of this month. We have,
The Mob Shop.
the first middle school dance of the year at Mission Blue on the 31st of January. And then February 8th is a busy day with habitat restoration and planting event in the morning. And then the Artists' Evening of Sharing in the evening, starting at 7:30. We also have a Parents' Night Out available to provide childcare that evening as well for anybody attending the Evening of Sharing who doesn't want to bring their kids. So signups and registration are open for that as well. And that's all.
That's all. Well, that's quite a bit. Thank you for those updates. Really great stuff. With that, I will go to commission matters. Do we have any written communications?
Not tonight.
Excellent. Okay, if there's nothing else, then we will adjourn. Like to adjourn tonight in solidarity with our firefighters in Southern California and everyone adversely affected by the fires. Thanks so much, everyone. We are adjourning at 8:36 p.m.
Thank you, everyone.